Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. As Newcastle United's season now starts to draw towards its climax, information is now becoming more clear for fans on what we should expect from the club going into the summer transfer window, and as well as that, going into the start of next season. So I'm here today to tell you everything you need to know coming towards the end of the season. So welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new around here and you like what you're watching, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button as well, and finally let me know down in the comments section your thoughts on this style of video. So the difference I'm doing now with these sort of videos is I'm trying to do it in one take, so I'm not cutting any bits of information up. It's fluid. I think it's more natural. Personally, it's just me speaking to you, the viewer. It's something that I'm going to try out a little bit to see if it works. Let me know down in the comments section if you prefer this sort of style, or you like where I'm cutting it up and obviously putting information across quicker. But yeah, apologies by the way if you hear any background noise. Of course, the street is currently celebrating the King's coronation, but not me. Today I'm here to crack on the Newcastle United content. So let's get straight into it. The most obvious one, and the one that is jotted all over the thumbnail and title, and that has been Bruno Guimaraes. So without a doubt, in my opinion, Newcastle's most talented player. This is a player that has the world at his feet. I could honestly come out now and tell you that I think Bruno Guimaraes is world class. I really do think he's that good. So of course, we've had plenty of, I wouldn't say issues, but we've got that doubt in the back of our minds because Real Madrid, Bruno himself has admitted that Real Madrid has been contacting him earlier on in the season. With somebody of his talent, I feel like any club in world football, if he wanted to, he could sign for that team. So I think getting Bruno down and signing a new contract is the most important thing you can do, especially for a team progressing like Newcastle. You've got to keep a hold of your best players, the core of the team, to make sure you can develop and become better from that. If straight away we lose a player like Bruno, then we've got a massive mountain we need to climb going into next season. So this one for me, I thought was always going to happen. I didn't ever see Bruno leaving his transfer window, especially how well Newcastle have done. You could argue on social media Newcastle have overachieved. I mean, we definitely haven't, because we deserve to be where we are. But statistically, Newcastle were not expected to finish in and around the top 4 this season. So for someone like Bruno, it's an opportunity for him to potentially jump ship. But we're not that club anymore. I think under Mike Ashley, a guy like Bruno, if we somehow was to sign him, he'd be out straight away. It'd just be a stepping stone. But Newcastle are no longer that stepping stone. So Bruno, 25 now, hitting into his prime. Dominic has came out on social media and he stated that Bruno is set to sign a new contract at St James's Park, a new 5-year deal that would keep him there until he's 30 years old. 5 deals is massive, by the way. So Bruno, again, earlier in the season, has been stressing his desire to win trophies at Newcastle, to earn success at the football club. Him and the rest of the team are fully aware of Newcastle not winning domestic trophies in 67 years, not winning any major honour in 50, I think it's 55 years now. I don't even know anymore. It's been so long. So it's a case now for us where we've got to pull our fingers out. We're far too big of a football club to be in a position where we are. We've got to be able to get those major honours in. And I think gradually over time we'll do that at this football club, because we're all striving to achieve one goal. So that was the big one that came out. Bruno is set to sign a new 5-year contract that would keep him at St James's Park until he is 30 years old. So plenty more. We've got Bruno in the middle. But speaking of Newcastle United players, one player that most people probably wouldn't expect to be staying at the football club going into next season, but I think the club is forced to do this because of certain laws, especially in UEFA competitions, that we have to do. And that's Paul Dummett. So Eddie Howe came out in his press conference yesterday and he's been stating the importance of Paul Dummett at the football club, a player that has played once this season. I believe he's played about 5 minutes or so. So Eddie Howe came out and stated how important he is to have around the dressing room, and he's implying that you should see more Paul Dummett going into next season. Now, for me, I actually agree with it. And the problem being is that under UEFA laws, Newcastle need 4 homegrown players. Homegrown players, it's a bit subjective, by the way. So someone like Dan Burn, even though he's from Blythe, he is not a homegrown talent because Newcastle did not have him for a certain period of time in his youth career. So Dan Burn trialled for Newcastle United when he was younger. We rejected him and he went straight to Blythe. So it's one of these ones where we aren't allowed to class Dan Burn as a homegrown player. So we got to have 4 in the registered squad. Sean Longstaff's number 1. Eddie Anderson's number 2. And you need 2 more. Now, the problem with Newcastle being our youth team is crap. I've seen a lot of people come out on social media and say Paul Dummett's this, Paul Dummett's that. But I think it speaks more volumes about our current youth team than it does against Paul Dummett. Because, let's be honest, if we had a good youth team, Paul Dummett wouldn't be here. It's that simple. And for me, I mean, he's a good servant, he's experienced, I think he's good around the dressing room. I know some people might not agree with this, but the likes of Mark Gillespie, I think it's always been said that your fourth choice goalkeeper is always somebody in the dressing room that's huge to have. Rob Green at Chelsea, you had what was it, right at Man City. You have all these old goalkeepers that you think, I mean, these are rubbish, never going to play football, but they do actually have quite importance, a key role to have in the dressing room. So Paul Dummett, I think he's going to stay. To be honest, I think he will get another contract which will keep him for 24 years at Newcastle. He's joined Newcastle in the year 2000. I was born in the year 2000, so he has quite literally played for Newcastle longer than I've been alive. So, I mean, fair play on the longevity, but it looks like we're going to have one more year of Paul Dummett. And I've got to be honest, under the current UEFA laws, I agree with it. I think we should be doing it. So yeah, that was the one regarding him, and now we'll get onto the kits. So Newcastle's kits going into next season, the details are being announced regarding all of them. We haven't got any pictures regarding to the league's kits, but we do have key information on what they should look like going into next season. So we'll begin off with the home shirt, so it's black and white, obviously. We're expecting to have white socks though, which is the first time in, I'm not even sure how long white socks that is, something that we don't tend to usually have in our home kit, but that was something on social media that's classed as controversial, according to Liam Kennedy's article, yeah. So, as well as that, we also expect to have a V-neck on the front of the shirt. Now, I remember the 2000 kit had a V-neck when I was a little collar coming out. It is quite nice, to be fair. I'm not sure if I'm particularly a fan of the V-necks. Of course, it's guaranteed we are going to have Castore next season for at least one more year, if not a couple more years. And I've got to be honest, I think Castore sucks big time. I don't like it at all. But we do know that the front of shirt sponsor, Funny Year, is going at the end of the season. I probably have to make a separate video in regards of what the new sponsor could be. We've got to get through all sorts of different bits and bobs on that. But yeah, just know that we are set to have a new sponsor going next season, but Castore is expected to stay. So those are the key details regarding the home shirt. So as for the Saudi Arabia kit, it is expected that once again Newcastle United will have a Saudi Arabia kit going into next season. All except this time, instead of being the white kit, it is now going to be the green kit, so the opposite shirt colours of the national team. It's a bit of a no-brainer for Newcastle. Once again, we're trying to commercialise in Saudi Arabia. We want to build a fan base over there. It also encourages sponsorships in Saudi Arabia to become more active with the football club. We've already seen it with Noon on the side of the shirt. They're paying out more than what Funny is paying out, so we do earn a lot of money from these guys. And it's a case now where, obviously, Newcastle United is owned by the Saudi Arabia PAF. It's a case where we are going to generate more revenue, more sponsorships, and more commercial deals with Saudi Arabia. It's inevitable. We will go to Saudi Arabia on a yearly basis as a tour guide. It's one of those ones, but it's just not going to change at all, so expect it to continue. And finally, regarding the final kit going into next season, it's actually very similar to the blue kit this season. So it's been quoted by Liam Kennedy to have very few differences, very similar kit. So once again, for the blue kit for me, I don't mind it. I don't think it's a great kit, but I don't mind it so much either. I guess we've got to wait and see until the actual designs themselves come out, but that's what you should expect really. The home kit's going to have a bit of renovations on it, a V-neck, and as well as that white socks. Away kit is now a green Saudi Arabia instead of the white, and finally the blue kit is very similar to what it was this season. So you can argue it's a bit lazy from Castore, but listen, at the end of the day, we're kind of stuck with him. So we're going to have to see out this contract, and hopefully afterwards we'll get Adidas, especially the down heels and Silverstone links. I think with Adidas, it's a bit inevitable. I'm expecting us to get some commercial and sponsorship deals going with them. So those were the big bits of information to come out. Finally, regarding to if Newcastle finish in the top 4 this season. Now, this is a big if. We've got to obviously finish there first, but once again, I fully expect Newcastle to do something at the end of the season if we get Champions League football. There is absolutely no way this club is not going to celebrate getting top 4 in their first full season since the takeover with the fans. I don't know exactly what they could do, but I'm fully expecting Newcastle United to do something at the end of the season if they get top 4 football. So yeah, time will tell. There'll be plenty of videos to get sorted on the channel. I'm sure I'm going to get plenty of things organised behind the scenes as well. But it's been an unbelievable first season. Newcastle United are ready to go in that match tomorrow, as well as actually the women's team play their biggest match in a good few years tomorrow as well. Because if they win, they get promoted into the 3rd tier of English football. And I know some of you guys aren't too fussed about women's football, but it is important because, well, if the women's team can get into Champions League football, Newcastle United under financial fair play is allowed to spend more money. So regardless of whether you like women's football or not, just know that if the women's team get Champions League football, we will spend more money in the transfer window. So it does help the club out. It does generalise the club a bit more. And it's something that, regardless of your opinion, you should support. You should hope for the best tomorrow. So all I got to do is win and they're guaranteed to get it. But as for the men's team, of course, we've got Arsenal tomorrow. Huge game of football. If we just get 1 point tomorrow, we look golden. All we need after that is 6 points. You're guaranteed Champions League football. So if we can beat them tomorrow, that's 4 points we need to get. But honestly, just 1 point I think is good. As long as we don't lose tomorrow, I think we're looking great. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Plenty of content to get into there. I kind of summed it all up in a quick 10-minute video there. So I appreciate your support of the channel as always. Make sure you let me know what you think of my content style down in the comment section. Appreciate you all watching. Take care, and I will see you all tomorrow for the Arsenal game.